While I addressed in my previous video about the apology tour being a terrible episode, a poorly written plot, the bad pacing, but the only good thing about the episode was how Blitz talks with Verosika Mayday and why the conversation was done so well. After his failed attempt to communicate with Stolas, we see Blitz talking to Verosika where she was not impressed with his fake apology tour and saying that he had some guts showing up at the party dedicated to hating his guts. And of course, Blitz was being a complete piece of crap and being an ass, angering Verosika to the point where she automatically calls him out as a shitty person. Over the course of the series, how he treats people, including Moxie, was a very disgusting behavior, and it is shown throughout the series. And given how she basically called him out on it, it had to be addressed, which I did commend her for addressing that. While Blitz states, "This is hell, we're all shitty," I honestly wanted to bitch slap this fool, but yet I applaud Verosika calling him out on his bullshit. In my previous two videos, I mentioned why Stolas had to have communication with Blitz and calling him out when it needs to be called out. However, Verosika did it in an excellent job in this scene. Granted, she did it in a diva-like way, but she did it to the point, and just because Blitz is making a very poorly done apology tour doesn't automatically give him any sympathy and make him realize that his actions hurt people and have consequences. The scene goes to where Verosika goes to length how Blitz made her feel when he left her in a hotel room, maxing her credit cards, and worst of all, breaking her heart, all because she said she loved him. The facial cues on Verosika in this moment hit hard because it showed that she was genuinely hurt by Blitz's actions and how it affected her, and it would make you understand why she was very aggressive towards Blitz when we first met her in the third episode. She was really in love with Blitz and thought he loved her too, but instead, Blitz being Blitz decides to sweep his actions under the rug, and instead of facing his emotions, he tries to run away and deflecting and being a total complete scumbag. And no, Blitz has no ground to stand on because her anger towards him was very justifiable, so people that get upset by this statement, get over yourselves. Blitz's facial reactions is what I know is beyond a doubt his true feelings of contrite and remorse finally coming to fruition and finally having a fucking wake-up call and realizing his words, let alone his actions, have consequences to them, not just to himself, but to the people around him. The next part we see Verosika saying the worst part is she feels sorry for Blitz despite being angry at him all this time. This made me a little shocked and realized, holy shit, she still cares for Blitz a bit. Not as before, but there is a little bit of genuine caring for Blitz there. I think this is just my speculation and I could be wrong, but that's how I interpreted this remark on her facial cue in this section. She then sits down and talks to Blitz why she threw this party was to help the people that Blitz screwed over in the past. I explained this in my previous video. I understand why Verosika wanted to help people that Blitz screwed over in the past, but throwing a party is not one of the healthy ways of coping, let alone trying to help them heal. But I did understand that she kind of felt sorry for everybody that Blitz screwed over, that she wanted to cheer them up in a way, but in my opinion of throwing a party is not the right way of doing it still stands to this day. When Verosika asked Blitz if he had any smart mouth comments to say, Blitz actually genuinely was talking to her in a genuine manner, not in a smart aleck way that we all know Blitz is, but he said, and quote, that he didn't want to be the way he is forever, in a genuine yet truly remorseful way, and the facial cue that Verosika is shown in this scene really shows that maybe, in a way, Blitz is actually remorseful for what he did to her and to everybody else, and he's being very appreciative that he's low-key showing his true self to her. When Blitz was upset that Stolas was swapping spit with an incubus, Verosika gave him an actually good, genuine advice to convince not only her or himself, but to Stolas that if he wants people to believe that he wants to change, he has to be supportive and hope that Stolas finds happiness with someone else. That's a pretty good advice that she gave, and it really shows that she does want Blitz to at least show everyone that he wants to change and to be a better person through his actions. And then showing him a cake afterwards, which This is a kind of a good metaphor, is to eat your heart out. I think that's a pretty good touch of that metaphor. Now, why is this scene the only good thing of the terrible episode that is the apology tour? Well, for starters, is the dialogue between Verosika and Blitz was them actually communicating instead of trying to dodge or avoid the conversation like how Blitz and Stolas have done throughout the series. And not to mention the fact that Verosika actually did what Stolas could have done in the ending of the Full Moon episode, was actually calling Blitz out on his bullshit. And the way that these two talked again shows a genuine communication between former partners, and we also understand why Verosika was a little bitter towards Blitz when she was at first introduced in the 3rd episode and then introduced in the Aussies episode. She was genuinely hurt because she actually was in love with Blitz, and Blitz just basically screwed her over and played with her emotions and basically used her, not caring about how his actions affected her. Now, I know that a lot of people have made certain videos about Verosika playing the victim card in this scene and claiming that she was a piece of shit of a person, but I want to ask you all this, and to put yourself in her shoes for a second. How would you feel when you confess to someone that you generally are in love with, and they decide to leave you the next day, maxing your credit cards and leaving you to pay for the hotel and breaking your heart and playing with your emotions? If I was in her shoes, I would have been bitter the way she was. I honestly think that this was a good scene in this terrible episode, that it actually did deserve its own video in its own right, because I feel like this is a very good thing to analyze and review in my own standpoint, and I honestly hope that we see more of Verosika Mayday in the future episodes. Now, if you all agree or disagree with my statements in this video, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I will possibly make more content like this in the future if you guys want to see more future analysis related videos in this channel, and please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link of it is in the description below. I am Ben Mazza, may the force be with you all, and take care.